All right, it says we're live. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Proximity.fun. My name is Tristan, and I am a little under the weather today. I've been fighting with a sinus infection for the last couple of weeks, and I just feel miserable. So instead of sitting here for 4 hours trying to record and edit all these videos and piece all the little things together, we're going to do a quick live stream. Just kind of want to tell you guys a little bit about what's going on in the proximity marketing world. And of course, you can find all of this information right over here on the site. You'll find the link to this in the chat. I'll also stick it in the description as soon as the video is finished uploading. So proximity marketing news for October 22nd, 2018. Of course, you can sign up for the newsletter over here. You're going to be getting that information in just a minute. Here's today's roundup. That's not supposed to be in there. And I want to talk to you guys really quickly about a $3 million grant for Arizona State University to help build a smart city educational program. We're talking about using Bluetooth beacons in like train stations out in France. And then finally, we're going to be talking about using NFC to track sheep, because that's something that happened this week, and that's something I need to talk about. Of course, there are 36 pages of articles and news all about proximity marketing. We cover everything from Bluetooth beacons. Then we talk about proximity marketing in general. We've got NFC in here. We have smart cities in here. We also have the Internet of Things. So if you guys want to check that out, then this is where you go to find all that information. It's pretty darn spiffy, if I do say so myself. So we're going to start off with Arizona State University's grant. It's actually pretty neat what they're wanting to do. They're wanting to make the system a little bit more accessible. They're wanting to make everything work a little bit better together. And it's just pretty neat. Like I said, they received a $3 million grant to go out and to start building this, and also to create an educational program in order to show people how to develop these systems in the future. So there's definitely a lot of there's a lot of money being thrown at this. There's a lot of people who are very, very interested in developing the smart cities. And again, that requires, your Bluetooth beacons, that requires the NFC, that requires all the kind of stuff that we're helping people to build. And it's really neat. So it's interesting to see, the things that we're doing really go much further beyond just the Bluetooth beacons and setting things up in restaurants. There's really a lot of ways that we can take this information and this technology, we can apply it to really make big differences in people's lives. Okay. So I thought it was neat, definitely worth giving a quick read. The other thing I thought was kind of neat today comes out of France, and this is from, again, this past week. And what these guys are doing is they want to improve people's experiences when they're going out to like different kinds of stations, right? So bus stations, train stations, all that kind of fun stuff. And the part that I was specifically interested in is they said that, they want to go out and they want to build this infrastructure within these different stations in order to allow people to get more out of their engagement or their time within those locations. But they specifically want to focus on 3 different categories. One of them is navigation, which is going to be your indoor mapping. We've talked about that quite a bit. The other is going to be services and retail. And again, that's something else we've talked about quite a bit. And accessibility. And that's going to be for, again, using things like indoor mapping, but then tying it into things like, audio cues for the visually impaired, or, any other kind of service that somebody might need in order to access different parts of the facility or the different services. So when we are setting up these campaigns, especially if we want to go after some of these larger locations, then we have kind of these different options of it are available to us. We can get into the navigation. Again, that's something that we've really explored a lot. We've talked about other companies doing it, but it's not something that I know how to do. Obviously, we talk a lot about doing the services and the retail. Imagine having a place like this where you can go and you can update your ticket, and all you have to do is click on a notification on your phone. Or if you wanted to buy peanuts, then all you'd have to do is enter your phone or press that notification. Then using like the navigation, the indoor tracking, then the person who sells the peanuts could actually locate you and say, hey, you bought your peanuts, here you go, and so on. And of course, I think the accessibility thing is another very, very interesting aspect that doesn't quite get as much attention, even from me, as I think that it deserves. And so if you guys do have any connections with anybody who works in any sort of, anything that's related to accessibility, that, as far as building like apps and similar features or similar systems, then I would actually be really interested in talking with them and seeing if there's something we can do. Maybe bring them here on the channel, talk a little bit about how we can help with that, how we can take our Bluetooth beacons and how we can expand those out to other fields that we wouldn't normally have access to. So again, that's something really neat, and that's something else that I'd be interested in talking to people about. And finally, you guys are going to get a kick out of this. So I live out here in northern Utah, right? See if that picture will show up. This shut down traffic last week. Now, if you can't tell what those are, it's a couple hundred sheep, and they are walking down the highway. And so basically, what's going on is during the winter months, then they take all the sheep and all the cattle and all the other livestock down from the mountains, and they bring them down into the valleys so that way they don't freeze to death. And that's basically what we're looking at here. They're just walking the sheep down from the high pasture down to low pasture. And as I was sitting here looking at this and I was looking over today's news, I thought to myself, I wonder if there's a way that beacons could make this easier, or a way that we can, kind of improve these systems a little bit. And I was surprised to find that there is. In fact, if we look over here, there are a couple different kinds of NFC tags that are out there. So we have this one. We have these ones here that were meant specifically for livestock tracking and identification. And it looks like, actually, these are something else, so I'm not going to get into that. There's even a video, and I've got a link to the video in, over here. That'll take you to this one to kind of explain the process. But basically what these things do is it's an NFC tag, and inside of it, it has a little battery, so that way it can broadcast that. Basically, it's the same thing as the NFC, but it's a little bit more beacony. So you have a little bit more range, you have a little bit more reach, and you also have a few more options available. And what this thing will do is it can actually track and see like temperatures. It can track and see when the animal sleeps. It can track and see when the animal moves. It can do all kinds of really interesting things. And the idea is that you can use this thinking to then keep track of the animal itself, to monitor its health, and to make sure that it's going where it needs to go. And so when you run into situations like this, where you're trying to herd large amounts of sheep or cattle or whatever, then you actually have a way of monitoring and controlling that a little bit. And I thought it was pretty neat. So another application for your Bluetooth beacons and for your NFC tags that you may not have thought of before. And so aside from being kind of funny, and maybe that's just my my NyQuil talking, I thought it was hilarious. But it's a question of looking at your environment, looking at the things that are around you, and looking for problems that need to be resolved, and seeing if there's any way that maybe some of the hardware that we're using, some of the hardware that we've become so familiar with, can help resolve those situations, kind of help make everything a little bit better. So that's what I was hoping to talk to you guys a little bit about today. So so of course, like I said, normally these things are a little bit more polished, and I have some other stock footage and videos in here and things like that. But so I feel like crap, so I'm going to go lay down and take a nap. But I did want to share this with you guys. Hopefully gave you some inspiration, some ideas of different things that you can do with your Bluetooth beacons and your proximity marketing in order to get out there and to make more money, help more customers, and to grow your business. If you guys do have any questions, or if you have any other news stories that have popped up that I may not have covered, then please let me know in the comments. We're always looking to share more stuff and help more people with this. So, we just want to make sure that everybody's up to date on all the newest things that are happening in the industry, so that way we can make wise decisions. So I think that'll do it for me. I'm going to hop on here and do another live stream in about 5 seconds. We're going to talk about how to manage 1,000 beacons at a time. And I think that'll do it for me. Hope you guys have a great day. And of course, you'll find links to all these things in the description. See you guys then. Bye.